right, Mike, we are here in Geneva. We're wrapping up. But before we go, let us talk about Rolex and Tudor. A lot of things going on, some interesting releases. Before we go, though, we must have a little moment of silence for the Yachtmaster 2. It's gone. You talked about it, you called it, you said it was going. I predicted in one of our prediction videos that maybe you might get a titanium Yachtmaster. I was going crazy. Maybe a titanium Yachtmaster 2 is the last hurrah. But the Yachtmaster 2 is gone. So au revoir, Yachtmaster 2. I still love you. Many other people out there do. And we got a solid gold Deepsea brick, which I think is a very interesting watch. Not everybody is loving, but seeing it in the metal, it's a large piece, and not everybody's going to be able to wear it, right? But if there's somebody who can wear a bigger watch, why not? Why not get a big old deep sea, take it on the boat, have some fun with it? If you want a big chunky piece of gold watch, I think is a perfect watch for you. There's so many other big, watches out there like Royal Oak Offshore, Solid Gold, and things like that. Why not? Why cry about a deep sea? I think it's a fun. I call it the Emperor. The Emperor Bluesy is my nickname for it. But what do you think about that one?
I really like that one. I think they definitely make sense that they're pairing that with the Yachtmaster 2 sailing on its regatta timer yacht into the sun, which
Yes.
is, so a lot of people are glad to see it go. It felt like an ugly duckling from Rolex, but
Yeah.
it had its spot. And when I saw somebody wearing it and wearing it proud, I was like, they got
There was a
there.
moment, man. There
So
was a moment.
so, and things come and things go. But I think the gold and the blue is a really great choice. I'm glad they didn't do like gold and black. I think that would have been kind of a funky pairing. I
Yeah,
think they
that'd have
got the
been.
color, even if you don't really like the proportions or like anything about it, I think the color scheme, they did a really good job.
Yeah, I agree. If it was a gold and black, I don't think I could jump on board with that. The bluesy, you got me with the bluesy, but the gold and black, no. So let's. What do you think about the new GMTs? So Pepsi's still around. Pepsi's still around there, and we have a black and gray GMT. So the green GMT hand is finally black. We have it on the Oyster. We have it on the Jubilee. What are your thoughts? And then I'll go.
Yeah, I really like it. Yeah, I think it's the perfect bridge between the all black GMT, which was good looking, but a lot of people that are on the street saying, "Is that? Oh, that looks like a sub. That's a weird looking sub." It shares so much design language with just a black bezel, black dial sub that it needed kind of its own design language. And putting the gray in there keeps the DNA of the GMT with having half of your bezels one color and half of your bezels another color, and that's kind of to signal day and night. The original, red and blue. It makes sense for the GMT, and I'm really glad that they did that, but in a stealthy way. So
Yeah.
it's not as loud as any of the other ones, and all the other ones are loud. They all have a bright primary color, whether it be blue, red, green. So glad they did a little low key, and it's a cool release.
Yeah, I think so. I think at first pictures, I wasn't too sure, but when you see the watch in person, the gray is very subtle. So the black and gray with the steel to me is a great combination. It's a great everyday do anything type of watch. If you get one, I think it'll be hard to take it off. It'll be a primary watch in the collection. I love that's available on both bracelets. I think it was smart of Rolex to release, get us back onto that green hand, almost black GMT patch. So many people just wanted something without a loud color. Not everybody, loves a loud color. Some people do like a colorful watch. Some people want something a little bit more subtle. So I think it's a great piece. Not everybody's gonna love it, but I think that's okay as well. It might be the GMT that will be a little bit more accessible as time goes on, right? Of course, the first year is going to be the hype year, but maybe next year and the year after that, that might be the GMT that might be a little bit more accessible. Let's see now because, as you look online and you poll people out there, it's still like 50-50 who loves it, who likes it, but there's no hate. So far I haven't heard anybody say, "Oh man, I hate that GMT." So I think it's gonna be a winner. The real question is Jubilee versus Oyster, and I don't know the answer to that, to be honest
I
with
think
you.
it's the same as any of the other ones, where it's really a preference of how you wear it, when you wear it. The durability of each bracelet's different. The setting of which you can wear each one is different. I find the Jubilee to be more comfortable, but I don't think it looks as good on my wrist. So it's kind of a give and take for every single person. Both obviously look great, and I really like the Rolex booth. Like half of it was dedicated to the GMT, and they had
Yes.
this enormous Pepsi
Yes.
bezel all along the roof. And it was kind of like, wink, wink, like, yeah, you
Exactly.
guys thought we couldn't make this. Yeah, yeah, we can make any bezel we want. We're not some, we're not some chumps that can't produce something
Exactly.
that we've been making for years and years and years. So
Exactly.
that was a nice touch. I like that.
Yeah, it was definitely dedicated to GMT. I love that it had, every piece of it broken apart. You can see all the different GMT bezels throughout time. And I think you'll definitely have fun with different variations of GMTs going forward. Who knows what different colors and things that come out in the future. But it's good to know that it can still spice things up. What do we talk about next? We have to talk about the 1908 Platinum with the glacier dial. This is the one that, like, when you see it, your heart stops a little bit because to me it is, when the 1908 came out, I wasn't sure. I was like, why do we need to get rid of the Cellini line? I love the Cellini. The Cellini Moonface to me was a perfect watch. But when you see the 1908 Platinum with the glacier dial, has a beautiful engraving on the dial, that watch can do no wrong for me. And that is probably one of the first Rolexes on a leather strap ever that I'm ready to run and put my
Yeah.
name down on a list for because it looks so good. And definitely that's something that could compete with many other brands, especially on a time only level. Many other brands you could put that watch up against, and I think it wins it goes very far if you do a March Madness style tournament. I think, looks wise in person, that thing is perfection.
I feel like it didn't get that much pop just because like it's a 1908, but to me this really does feel like Rolex's big win and best release for me this year. Probably the gray black GMT is going to get a little bit more attention since it is a sports model, but the 1908 just looks so good, and I feel like Rolex really could have rested on their platinum laurels and done just a blank
Yep.
blue.
And that would look good too.
Yes, they could have done just a blank blue, ice blue, the same as the Daytona, Platinum Daytona, and it would have looked great. But they say, we have watchmaking shops too. We're not just people that produce the same watches over and over again. We can really get down to the nitty gritty details, have a really great open case bag look, have a really beautiful, refined guilloche dial, and I really appreciate that they did that. And I think that's gonna, when I see those on the street and I see people wearing those, I'm gonna be like, wow, that is a killer.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be the one. It's gonna be very interesting, and the 1908 line, just like the Cellini line, very subtle availability to kind of trickling out. So that's gonna be one where a lot of people will be fighting to get. I'm very excited to see what that does when they come out. And a lot of other releases, but a lot of updates for them. Really, we got the Sky Roller now on a full gold Jubilee bracelet, which I really love. I think my personal favorite would be Ever Rose with the chocolate dial. I love that. We have a lot of different dates with dial updates as well. Overall, I think what Rolex wanted to do this year was give a nice collection update, a few. You got the GMT, you got the 1908, you got the Deepsea, but they weren't looking for another big 150 or 100 plus reference release here. They weren't looking to shake up the world. They were like, hey, let's kind of keep things calm. Let's keep things steady. Let's keep things, let's keep the boat moving, but we don't need to rock the boat because these past couple of years have been boom, boom, boom. Let's kind of keep a nice steady thing. So a lot of people out there are like, oh man, I was looking for more. But I mean, like, what more do you really want? If you look at the lineup right now, they have a really good selection all around. Again, farewell to my Yachtmaster 2. They've kind of snipped up some other things. No more fluted motif dials, no more palm dials as well. Hopefully the palm dial will return one day in like a 41, so I can rock one. But yeah, I think overall Rolex had a nice, steady, strong year. I think if you love the brand, there's definitely a piece introduced that you can definitely get your name on a list to try to hunt on the market when they come out.
Yeah, Rolex has definitely kept it steady this year and just kind of done step by step. Nothing super crazy, nothing where people were kind of sprinting to the Rolex booth this year. It was pretty calm around the Rolex booth, but their little brother is catching up to them, and
Yes,
they're probably breathing down their neck at Rolex and Tudor headquarters. They're like, hey, back off,
yeah,
buddy, because Tudor was the hottest boutique,
for sure,
hottest place that was at Watches and Wonders, where it was just elbow to elbow looking at all the new releases,
for
and
sure.
for good reason. They had such a lot of great releases. I think the best one was probably the GMT. That was the one that popped the most. So it was like, oh, Rolex didn't do a Coke, but Tudor did kind of a version of it with gilt numerals. I saw somebody throw out Dr. Pepper because I didn't want to let go of that Coke
I
name.
love the Dr.
Yeah.
Pepper. Oh, I'm gonna rock with that. I was calling it the Coke, but I love the Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, and it looks really good. Some people were complaining about the gilt. Some people were saying, well, the gilt's only there because they want to, stay away from stealing the Coke away from Rolex. But, who really knows what goes on behind the scenes? So at the end of the day, you just look at the watch and do you like it or not? And personally, me, I love it. I love it with the gilt. I think that's great with Tudor. They've done all of this kind of retro styling, and that fits right in. They've thinned it up. They've made it a much more wearable watch, where a lot of complaints with the current Tudor GMT was that it was too chunky. It's hard to wear. It was thick. It was like, man, this is like not really what you want out of such, a high-end brand that Tudor is. These watches are not cheap in the grand scheme of things, and you want something really nice. And I think that's what they delivered on with the newest GMT.
Yeah, for sure. The one thing that they kept stating over and over and over again is how, this is 12.8 millimeter, is thinner than the normal GMT, and they really wanted to get that across to people, that they did do their work and make it a thinner GMT. And to me, the Black Bay line has always kind of been vintage inspired. So the gilt numerals, the kind of the bronze gold numerals kind of make sense with it. I know, of course, if we put everything in Photoshop and we take away colors, we can make any watch look like our dream watch. But I think if you see this watch in person, there's a lot to love there. I'm a big fan of it. And I think with that deeper burgundy, instead of that kind of poppy red of a Coke, I think the gold works perfectly, to be honest with you. I think if it was like I said, that kind of poppy red of a normal Coke bezel, the gold wouldn't have worked as well. But because it was like a deeper burgundy, that gilt, that vintage gold look with the gilt and the gold of the that's around the hour hand and minute hands and the dial as well, it blends everything well. It gives you kind of that vintage aesthetic that we've kind of come to expect from Tudor these days, or at least the Black Bay line these days as well. So to me, it's a really, really nice win for them. A little bit thinner. It's 39 millimeters. So I think, if you find something not to like in this watch, you're really kind of reaching, in my opinion. But there's a lot to love, and you can now get it on a rubber strap as well, directly from Tudor. So it's nice to see that as well. It's nice to see Tudor and other brands listening to what people like, and people like to change the shoes on their watches. So it's nice to see a lot of new bracelets and a lot of new straps, and now they have rubber and a 5-link bracelet, so pretty much almost everything, at least in the Black Bay line for them.
Yeah, I was excited to see the rubber. When I first saw Oysterflex, Rolex's version of rubber, I was really skeptical. I was like, I cannot believe, you're getting a Daytona and you're taking off the bracelet. The bracelet is so iconic. Rolex bracelets have always been, such a strong for them. And when I put it on, the actual Oysterflex, is like, wow, this is really great. So we'll have to see with Tudor, do they have such high quality and wearability, and how comfortable is their rubber? I think it's just called T-Fit is the name for it. So we will see if it's as comfortable as it looks, and if it compares with Rolex's, because the two are always being compared.
Exactly.
So we'll see if they can catch up. And overall, I think Tudor did a really, really great job. They're definitely probably the hottest releases. People were breezing right past the Rolex booth
It's
to
very
go right past
interesting.
Tudor, because when you're walking through the hallway from the main area, on your left first is Rolex, and then is Tudor, and people just gunning it past all
very
of the
funny.
displays of the new diamond set Daytonas, of all that kind of stuff. They're like, let's get to Tudor and let's get up close and personal with these new releases. And I really like the 5-link bracelet. I really like the smaller the Black Bay, the 41 millimeter Black
Yes,
Bay.
the Black Bay Monochrome, which is a really nice introduction as well. And I didn't realize, right, the first Black Bay that it's all black, right? And it really, I love that watch. I looked at it, I was like, I didn't know this is something that I wanted. But it's really nice to have it on the 3-link, the 5-link. I'm gonna call it the oyster. On the oyster, the 3-link, and the rubber strap. It looks really good, and it just gives you a little bit more modern look versus the normal vintage that we get from the Black Bay. And I think it's fun, especially at the price point that it'll be at, and the availability, honestly, that you'll be able to get that watch at. I think that'll be such an easy watch to pick up, such an easy watch to pick up from your collection, be able to get on the wrist and take out a door. And this is a great move. Something so simple, you didn't even know that you wanted, but like when you see it in person, you're like, okay, I understand it. I would take every bracelet and just have fun swapping bracelets. If you wanted one watch and 3 bracelets, that's a great watch under 6,000 that I'd say, give me all the shoes and I'd have fun switching shoes out on that.
Yeah, it looks really great, and it's definitely stealing. I said this in one of our other social media videos. It's stealing the Pelagos' thunder, where it's very similar in color scheme. Of course, the Pelagos has a much more blocky kind of look when it comes to the hands and the dial. And I'm hoping the Pelagos gets enough, because I really do love the Pelagos. It's a really cool look. I love how you can The Alinghi version has the Velcro strap.
Yes.
I would really love for them to really lean into the diver side of it and the sporty side of it to really differentiate it from the Black Bay, where it really gets rugged, it gets cool looking. You can put it on any kind of strap and really, you know, toss it around and beat it up. So I'm hoping that's kind of where they pushes the Pelagos, and Tudor just keeps expanding and keeps getting better.
Yeah, you know, I said it on one of the prediction videos. Tudor has been doing such a consistent year after year of releases, of great releases, that I wasn't even expecting anything big from them. And this year they still managed to do some big releases. So next year, probably, in my opinion, my early 2025 watch some Wonders prediction will be something with the Pelagos line, and maybe a little bit of revamp there. Because what else could they really do? But I'm very, very excited. And I think all around strong, consistent growth in their collections. Both brands, Rolex and Tudor, just cleaning it up. And both brands, when you go on the website, when you look at their overall collections, there's a little bit of everything for everybody. I think that's all you could want from great brands like that.
Yeah, overall, we're really pleased from both brands, and it seemed like the general buzz was pretty positive. Even though it was a little louder at Tudor, there was no, you know, big like eye rolling or groaning, because there wasn't, you know, any big discontinuations of favorite models from either brand either. You know, we were hoping for, you know, maybe a new big block chrono,
Yes.
which kind of, the buzz kind of died there when we saw the pink chrono. They're like, okay, well, it doesn't really make any sense that they would release that, then get rid of it. So. And some more things that we hope to see next year, but
Exactly.
overall it was really great. And we hope this review has been great, and we really appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon.